Good afternoon. Welcome to OptionsTender. It's Friday, April 25th, 2025. Okay, so we're going to clean up the noise. This move is very deceptive. I do think we reverse. I do still see new lows coming in, at least for those big tech stocks and for IWM. So that's a preview on what I think is coming up next. If we don't make a new low, or if we make a slight new low on SPX and NDX, that's fine. That narrative hasn't changed. I still think we're going to test the lows. Whether we make a new low or not is up for grabs. I would ideally like to see the targets that I've talked about in the past videos, but we're going to clean all of this mess up right now. Okay, so we have SPX. By the way, we're doing this intraday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to get these videos intraday, so you can help make you a better trader during the day, or maybe I see something that you did not, and you can compare it to your own notes, then consider becoming a 99-cent a month YouTube member. And we just did an individual analysis video on more of the reasons why I think price is going lower, and I think it's going lower really soon. All right, so we have SPX on the daily time frame. We're looking at this yesterday. I want to leave this possible equilibrium here because of this candle that reversed here. That's no longer the case. Obviously, it's breaking out. I guess you could say that. I don't think this is an actual breakout anyway. Right on the edge here, you put from point to point, we're right at it. We're really right at the downtrend line. So this is clean enough in itself. All right. And I'll leave this line on here because I do think that's going to break down. And that's just a pivot. It's not a good trend line. This is a good trend line where you have more than two touches. So in a nutshell, that's it. All right. We can look at the moving averages. We're above those. It's so difficult to not be bullish because of the 8 EMA and because of the 20 moving average. Okay. So the market is on firm grounding here, but it's really a counterbounce. And I'm not going to fall into that trap. We're over bought, and look at that. The breadth is actually coming down while price is going up. So we're starting a divergence there. I think this move is done. All right, our oscillators, and I want to keep showing these because we need to constantly learn how to interpret and see how this develops, okay, as we go. So the MACD, bullish crossover, still in bearish territory. Everything looks bullish. And so with this move, again, if we make a new low, I do think this is going to make a higher low with the MACD. RSI, still, it's not perfect, but still in this downtrend here. All right, if we get a reversal going into next week, then we'll see where this goes. I want to see a higher low in the RSI. The slow stoke, already overbought. If we start to see this curl, then you're going to see price action do the same. DMARC. This is going to be a shorter video. I just want to show some of these things here. We have a 1, 2, 3, nothing to see here so far. Awesome oscillator, still in bearish territory, but green. Getting some green candles. This very much could roll over, and I'd like to see positive divergence. Okay, obviously we don't know that yet. We may have a hangman candle or evening star setup here. Whatever you want to call these formations, that's very similar to this. All right, so you have your green candle, large green candle, pause, candle there, and a reversal. Now, Let's go to SPX. And here's the money flow, back above this 50 area. And, looking good so far. We'll see where that goes. We're not going to look at anything else there yet. Now, what I need to point out is, let's not use this one. I want to keep this a very clean move here. Now, here's what I think we're doing. This is our bearish scenario. Our bearish rising wedge broke down from it. Now, I am thinking that this is possibly, and I'm going to count this different than what I think the Mag 7. We're going to look at the Mag 7, the Mags ETF, and it's been spot on. And that's our most important chart. So IWM and the Mag 7 Mags ETF are going to be the charts to look at. So this is an ABC. I know that, again, we did have a 1, 2 up here, 3, 4, 5. It's really ugly look. So I'm going to keep this, again, nice and clean. So this could be, if we get a new low, or not. I mean, here's an A. We had a 3-wave move for an A. We got a B wave here, and we're looking for a C to hit our targets lower, and that will just be our first A. Okay, so it doesn't matter how you want to count this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know most people are. We see this being a wave 1, 2, 3, and a huge 4, and they're talking about crossing over 1, and that invalidates. That's fine. It invalidates that count, but you can count it different ways. And so if we don't make a new low, then A is in, right? And then we just have an A, B, C for a larger B. So that's still how this can look. I still think we're going to test the lows and make a higher correction. Right? No matter how this ends up playing out, I still think we're going to test the lows, higher correction for a larger B, and then we have our next wave down lower. And so what's really important on this chart, and I have it on SPX, I just did it for the other members. I'll just make a quick one here. The retracements, the entire move, which is very typical for an ABC, we just made it to the 50% retracement of the entire move. So that's why price action stuck right here. Not only is there good resistance, but this makes perfect sense for this this B wave going into the 50%. Now, clearly, if we get on top of this, it goes further and it can make it to 62. I just don't think that's the case because of the other evidence that I had pointed out to the members. Now, and you'll see with IWM and the Mag 7 exactly how this is going to pull things together. So let's do IWM first. Now, IWM, let me borrow some of these numbers here. At our ending diagonal up here, it's done. Now you have wave 1. We had our wave 2. Wave 3 is in. And as far as we know right now, we're stopping at a textbook wave 4 into the 382 retracement right here. All right, that means that we're going to make a new low for wave 5. Now, even though you have a nice clean chart here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulse wave, that in SPY and QQQ, it's going to be distorted, and that maybe is an ABC. Well, we know exactly what to look at to see if that's wrong and if other things happen. This is going to keep us on track. All right, so again, the 382 retracement, it's beautiful. It's got some room to go. If it just wants to go a little higher, you can spike through, you can close right on top of here. It's fine, you have wiggle room, but it just can't get on top and hold and continue. Okay, so now we have something to trade against. That's why we're short IWM. And as for the Mags ETF, same thing. A little wiggle room. We're right on the 382. This is going to be important. You can't get on top of it and continue to go higher. That negates everything. You have your wave 1. It's a leading diagonal. 2. Wave 3 is in. On that massive week, that move here, that was wave 4. And we're making a lower high here. And this looks very much like NVIDIA, where you get a continued move to the downside. And I know we look really strong today. We'll see what happens. I said we weren't going to look at the Qs, but the Qs, I would really like to see, without violating all the other stuff, a tag of this 50%. It just seems like unfinished business. And then it will match exactly what SPY is doing. It doesn't have to, but it makes it for a more comfortable tag here. But the market always wants to keep you on your toes, so it's probably not going to move there. So forget this count right here. I was trying to look for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 50%, and again, if you're in that camp where this is a wave 1 and this was a wave 4, then that's invalid. You can't count it that way for Elliott wave. All right. And so if this is some sort of leading diagonal, then that's different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Doesn't matter. It's all speculative. All right, so let's go over the same things that we just did, but we'll look on the 65 and we'll end this video. So on a traditional look here, 65 minute. And yeah, I can move this up. So the trend line barely tags right there. That top with this top, and we're at it right now. So that's what's giving us a pause. I hate there's a lot of haters for technical analysis, and they say, oh, you just move your lines anywhere. So I don't like to, but now if we reverse off of here, that makes sense. It's exactly with our 50% retracement downtrend line here. And in my opinion, this entire move was one move. And we had an A, a B, and a C. You count it that way, and you go higher, or you go, lower. So that would be our direct. Here's direct, Here's the more bullish interpretation. That your A and B are in here, and we're looking to either C is complete, and we'll show you that in a second, or this is wave 1 of a 5-wave move higher to end wave C. All right, and that would be there. It'd be 1, 2, and we hold this ascending triangle, right? So this still is an ascending triangle, haven't broken out. 3, 4, 5. So that's the more bullish bear scenario. And then the direct low, this 5-wave move completed. Okay, so that's a huge thing that I had to learn, was there's always extensions. When I made this mistake way up here, this was a 5-wave move here. All right, that could have completed an A, or 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, when we were counting it like that. But what happened was this back tested here. There was a bear flag. This ended up being an extension where you just got a lower high, and then it really started to crash from there. So is this an extension? Is this move done? Is the big question. And we'll have that trend line there, that pivot. And then you get a pullback, and you get higher highs. Obviously, then that's the move that's heading higher from this point. So with this said, if this is done already, then we should have a 5-wave move down lower. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we won't know. We'll have sort of an equilibrium here if we get this pullback, because we have that pivot. So that wave 1, we won't know if it's going to get a pullback. So you either get bullish and bearish, it's going to trick everybody. You get the 1 and then pulls it back for 2 when you think you're going to make new highs, and then it drops for wave 3, and you know, the other way around. So you get all bearish, the move comes in here for wave 2, and then it rips your face off in a wave 3 and 4 and 5. So we're getting into that point where this is going to be an equilibrium, and we won't know until it starts to break, right? So we'll get our reversal here, we'll hedge our position, and then if price breaks out here, then we'll work off the hedges. And again, if we have the lower prices, which cycles are talking about getting lows here in the near future, so you know, take it for what it's worth. All right, and looking at I don't really have to look at these anymore, but I'll just show you a different point of view here. I was looking for a lower high at that point. We're at the 8.8, so this definitely could be some sort of flat pattern for a 1, 2. We're at that 382. We'll see this continue lower. And IWM. Yeah, I didn't update this stuff here, so I'm not going to waste your time with that. You saw it on the big picture, what's happening. Maybe we can look at something with the VIX. All right, the VIX is still in that bearish or bullish falling wedge. So here's the look on the 65. And we're starting to make, oops, wrong one. Starting to make bullish divergence. Lower lows going into support on price, higher low on the MACD. Okay, so going into next week, we'll be looking for this to start to play out. It's not going to happen today, clearly, on a Friday. And we'll look for those new options expected moves. On the weekend, I'll give you those options expected move in the individual analysis there on all the big tech and a lot of the names that we follow. So this is, I believe this is going to start to play out next week. And we'll go from there. But if this continues to drop and closes the gap, then obviously the market is going directly higher, and we have to adjust accordingly. All right. Thanks for watching us here at OptionsTender. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.